The title of today's presentation is From Keywords to Conversations. All right, quick reintroduction. I've been doing e-commerce for marketing about 25 years. I was a programmer, became a marketer after launching my own websites, including e-commerce sites. I learned SEO marketing in real life, not just reading a bunch of blogs. I worked with a bunch of e-commerce and non-e-commerce brand, had my own. Because my degree was in computer science and I took Intro to AI 101 back in 25-something years ago, I was always excited about AI. Now that it's happening, I'm really excited about it. So I'm really embracing AI to the best I can. My main business is Clarity Digital Agency, which is a digital marketing agency. It's been around for 7 or 8 years. We rebranded around COVID. It was under a different name. And this year we launched Clarity Digital.ai, which is not just marketing, but it's about AI empowerment, enablement, and education and automation. Today, we want to talk about how AI has changed, and I'm going to start with some examples. Basically, in a nutshell, AI search behavior is very different than what people traditionally use in Google. In Google, they would go put some fragmented keywords. In AI, they actually have conversation with it. And the example I'm giving you today is a real-life example conducted by me. My wife told me, you got to lose some weight. I'm like, okay. So I started looking I used to run way back in the day, so I'm like, okay, I need to start running again. Maybe I can do half a mile and kind of increase it. So I started looking for some shoes in Google, and I didn't get the type of results I want to get, minus the AI overview. I put in wide feet running shoes, men. And again, you get a bunch of links, you get a bunch of shopping feeds, like it's very chaotic. So I went to Perplexity, or you can use ChatGPT or Gemini, and I actually had a real conversation with it. And this one, I didn't type it in, I actually spoke to ChatGPT, or I think it was Perplexity. And I said, I'm overweight, trying to lose weight, need running shoes that work best for me. I'm size 10, but sometimes I wear size 10 and a half. Recommend me a product that works best for me. And I really got really good results. I haven't bought it yet because I'm a bad shopper, but that is something that I did, okay? So it was very simple. I had a good conversation, and I went for my morning walks, and I was talking to Perplexity, and they gave me a bunch of results, Asics, Brooks, a couple other ones. So so those searches are happening, and they're really hard to track, but they're happening. So if you're not showing up in that search results, you're not gonna get the visibility and the business that you could get. So today I'm going to give you some high-level tips on how you can optimize for this new era of search. And I mentioned some of these yesterday, but in the past we were focusing more on keywords, fragmented. Now we got to focus more on topics and conversations. Buyers ask ChatGPT and LLMs like a trusted expert, like how I did. And also, it's not just research. I don't know if you've read the news, ChatGPT is going to incorporate feeds. Perplexity has it. It's a little bit hard to get on it, but you actually see product you can buy on Perplexity. And I believe Google Gemini may also have it or may bringing it. I haven't seen that recently. But you can actually compare everything from a high funnel to at least mid funnel right now you can do in LLMs. So you can compare products, you can compare prices, reviews, feedback. Instead of going to different websites, you can just ask AI to do it. So how do you rank? How do you become more visible in AI? You change your content strategy. You address pain points rather than just talking about a feature of your product. In a traditional e-commerce, you put your product, you put its features, a little bit about the product done. But now you have to rethink your product content pages and category content pages about what this product is here for. What does it solve? Especially if you're on a B2B, pain points are very, very important. For example, for me, this shoe is a good shoe if you are overweight or if you have wide feet or whatever, right? So when you're writing this content, that's how you have to think, because that's what LLMs understand. That's how they distinguish your product versus someone else. So so to the best you have to explain the product. You have to kind of like that movie from, what was it, Wolf of Wall Street, like sell me this pen. You got to sell that pen in your product description. And zero-click behavior, you also have to expect that you may not get the traffic to your website. So you have to also change your mentalities. It's about your KPIs have to change. Traditional SEO, they see your listing, they click on your listing, they come to your website, they convert, you celebrate. Now it's different. They research, your brand shows up, and then they go later either directly to your website or go to Google and search your brand. So it's not a very one-to-one linear conversion path. So you have your expectations need to change. But from working with our clients, we've seen that those that invest more in optimizing for AI search, their direct traffic, if you look at Google Analytics, and branded traffic has increased a lot because of that. So the attribution model is also changing as well. This slide is straight out of yesterday. You need all three type of content on your website. Informational content for customers that are above their higher funnel, the earlier stages of customer journey. Consideration, and an example of information is best running shoes for flat feet. Consideration content is when they're a little bit lower funnel, what Brooks versus Asics running shoes, right? And then transactional content, buy Brooks goes 15 women size 8. So you need all this content on your website, so LLMs, the AI can learn from you, and the more you provide to AI, the more it learns from you, the more likely it will cite you when someone's searching for your product and your information that you have. But that doesn't mean that you should forget classic SEO, in particular technical SEO. LLMs like ChatGPT, they still come and crawl your website. And I read an article on Search Engine Land, I think it was last year, it said that ChatGPT crawler is actually really bad. Like it goes through your website, it hangs, and it just leaves. So if your website if there's a lot of bad code or it's a page load is slow, so you want to continue optimizing your website performance, core web vitals, page speed for ChatGPT and AI. They also consider Google classic results as an authority, as a learning mechanism. So by you ranking in Google, it's very likely that you could also should be more visible in ChatGPT. So that's why do not neglect classic SEO. This kind of goes on top of that. And schema markups I mentioned yesterday, in the classic SEO, they didn't matter as much. It was like a good to have, now you must have it. So markups, so that way they fully understand what your product is, what every element of your page is. Content goes beyond just copy and blog posts in AI world. Videos that you create, user-generated videos, especially in e-commerce, that your clients use. Ask your clients to grab their iPhone or Android phone and leave you a 30-second review and send it to you, or put it under social media and tag you and allow you to download it. Explainer videos, not all your videos have to be like commercials or trying to sell. You actually want to have how-to videos, put them on YouTube. Gemini uses YouTube a lot to return these results. Video transcripts are still a good way to inform AI because chances are that if you have like a 20 minutes long video on your website, AI is not going to come and try to understand all of it because it takes bandwidth, it costs money. So when you provide transcription under the video or somewhere on your website, it can learn what the video is saying a lot faster. Alt tags, this is an accessibility issue. I thought I'd bring it up today as well, like I did yesterday. This is really important. This is not just SEO issue. You have to have proper alt tags. That only helps your SEO and AIO, but also helps with accessibility. Try to answer as many questions that you think is relevant to your target audience on your website, whether it's on your blog, on your product pages, category pages. Make them unique, so you don't want to have the same FAQ everywhere. Those are because it's very likely that those are the questions that people are asking in ChatGPT or Claude or whatever. So try to, your content strategy should be more FAQ. It should be more answering questions, FAQ based. And one good trick that instead of just, there's a lot of tools that I'm going to show you in the next slide that you can use to come up with that content. So that's really important to use some tools. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. But one thing we did with one of our clients is that they had this call tracking that transcribed all the conversations of the customer service and sales. We just, every once a month, we dump the transcription in Claude and be like, hey, give us some of the questions and the pain points. You can have your own really unique questions. In the past, I would have to hire someone overseas, pay them like $2 per hour. Hey, go read all of it and give me all the descriptions. Now you can do it using ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you prefer. Put the transcription. It's like, hey, give me the pain points that in these transcriptions of the calls. These are like real data uniquely for you. But there's also other tools out there. I think that's going to come right after this, a little bit out of place in terms of order. I think I'm going to skip to that one. I'm going to come back to this. So the tools that I use a lot for my AI content strategy, in addition to listening to my own data and transcriptions and customer service feedback and sales feedback, is also, I really like Perplexity because they have their own model, but they also search Claude, I think Gemini, definitely ChatGPT. So it's the answers you get is kind of like comparison contrast, and you get like a lot better answer. Google Search Console has now AI overview impressions. So there's some data there you should definitely look into, and it gives you some insight of what your content should be like. Claude, ChatGPT, I use both of them. I've paid subscription for almost all these main LLMs, and I'm always paying for more, unfortunately. So again, there's a little bit of, you want to ask questions. In the second part, which is Claude, ChatGPT, I meant to say that try to get better at prompting. The better you prompt, the better information you will get. There are also paid tools like Also Ask, Answer the Public, SEMrush, Ahrefs. There's a bunch of tools that you can pay anywhere from like $40 a month to like a couple $100 a month that can give you good information about what people are actually searching on these platforms. And then another tools that also review platforms. If you look at what people are actually saying in the reviews, that also gives you some ideas about what the content should be about. So I'm going to skip back to the next part of this. Sorry about the order. The off page is probably 50% of your success in ChatGPT and AI SEO. In the past, it was all about link building and building domain authority, and that's still important, but it's becoming more important for your brand to also be mentioned in other reputable websites. On Reddit, if people are, Perplexity looks at Reddit conversations, and if the sentiment about your brand is positive, it is more likely that you're going to show up in Perplexity. If people are we actually have a real life client right now. I'm not going to mention who they are. They're actually a good company, but for some reason, a pissed off customer went on Reddit and said a lot of bad things about them. So their AEO, the AI SEO visibility is struggling a little bit because of all the negative sentiments they have on Reddit. So you got to be, not only your mention is important, but also how you're being mentioned, positively, negatively. So that's why there's this emergence of a new products that we also offer at our agency. My only sales pitch, if you want, we can help you with that. We will help you with your digital branding and PR. Not a traditional PR in the sense that, we're very different than traditional PR, but this is mainly getting you placement on third-party sites, on places like Forbes, getting you booked on podcasts of somebody else's podcast, and all those mentions will build up your authority. You don't necessarily have to have links back to your website. You just want to be mentioned in a positive way. Definitely visit our partners over there. You have a review generation plan that if you have some negative reviews, you got to figure out how you can improve it. Reviews for AEO are at the product level and also your brand level. You want to kind of monitor, increase and improve both of them. Product level, if you're a D2C, obviously it's going to reflect you, but if you're a reseller, so product level, it's kind of more of a conversion thing for you. But also the sentiment about your brand. Are you a fast shipper? You have a good customer service? You have happy customers? Are you expensive? All the stuff that people say in the reviews, AI knows it. Traditional Google, it was hard for traditional classic search engines to kind of understand that. They tried, but obviously AI being large language models, they understand this stuff. So you want to, in a very white hat way, you don't want to go fake reviews. In a very white hat way, you want to increase your positive reviews and ratings across the web. Have some sort of PR, digital PR strategy, hire a person, work with a firm, whatever. As a store owner, what you should do today, tomorrow, next week, is to do an audit. Now, there are paid audit tools, but the best way to audit is figure out what product you're selling. Go on ChatGPT, go to Gemini, go to Claude, go to Perplexity, and search for your product and see if you show up in the top results. If you're not, and do it a few times because these things are like, I was taking some AI courses, MIT extension courses, and it said AI is statistical lottery. So it changes all the time because they use lots of statistics. So do it a few times, kind of get a feel about where you stand. So do a self-audit, and then it's very likely that you need to change if you're not coming up or if the result isn't to your satisfaction. If you're coming up, good for you. Keep doing what you're doing. If not, you probably want to revisit your content strategy. You need to answer more questions. You need to answer more pain points. It's very likely that you need either more reviews or better reviews. Definitely focus on creating content for all stages of a customer journey, even though you think it doesn't convert, it does. Even customer retention, customer service type of content, customer support, don't gate those, make it public. It will help you, trust me. We work with a B2B SaaS client, and much of the support content was gated, so search engines couldn't see it. One of my biggest initiatives was that let's ungate those. They're like, oh, it's too technical. The website should be for marketing. I'm like, no, because you'll be surprised how much this content will help marketing. And so, whatever you can ungate, do it. Obviously, you want to optimize it if it's too brief or it's too ugly, pretty it up. But the more LLMs learn from you, the more likely you become an authority for that topic, for that product, the more likely you're going to show up. Please focus more on visual assets, when I log off on my computer, I hardly read anymore, unfortunately. I'm just on YouTube Shorts, going through videos. And ChatGPT AI, they learn from videos a lot, especially the transcription. And as I mentioned, have some sort of digital PR plan to your budget. Even something as normal as a press releases every once a month, it will help. We already covered this. Again, this is my last slide. 3 things you should do this week, next week is ask ChatGPT or AI to recommend product in your category. If you're not there, you have work to do. Check your top product pages. Does it answer a question? Do you have just a product name and a bunch of features? Or your category pages, do you just have the name and a bunch of products? Or do you actually have content that address what is this product for? Why yours? Kind of like the example I used yesterday was Amazon product pages. It's very well thought out. Users can make informed decisions. So AI really rewards stuff like that. And then pull your last 30 days of reviews. See not just your ratings, but just your reviews, what people are saying. It gives you a lot of things you can do. Your content, what content I'm going to write about. If you have any negative reviews, please respond to them. Just responding alone is going to help you. And basically have a review, an online reputation plan. And obviously, there's a little I just added this morning. We have an AI SEO course. A lot of stuff goes into it. I only had 20 minutes. If you scan that code, it will take you to a free AI SEO course, completely free. You just have to sign up. No gimmicks. It's basically my notes. It's very straight to the point. You will learn quite a bit, and it will hopefully help you. And that's it.